Hello there, I'm Sam.
And I'm Tori.
And we are
100 Baker Wood.
And today we are making
vanilla buttercream.
Let's go. So Tori, today we are making vanilla buttercream, which is of course dairy free and soya free and nut free. So what do we do?
So first of all, we're going to measure out our icing sugar. Because we want to sieve the icing sugar, I'm going to weigh it out in a bowl first, and then we can use that to sieve into our main mixing bowl. You don't need a fancy mixer, it's just the one that obviously I got for my birthday last year. Prior to that we used a really old one, but any mixer or any bowl and a spoon or fork will do. So obviously first of all I'm going to measure out the icing sugar, so I'll turn on my scales. Make sure it's on 0, that's right. So now I'm going to measure out 500 grams of icing sugar. Then once it's been weighed out, I can then use a sieve
So we may have a slight issue here. Our icing sugar was accidentally left out in the garage. So do you think this is going to work?
Who knows? Let's give it a try. And if not, we'll have to go to the shops and get another lot.
So it's kind of gone a bit lumpy and bumpy.
It's just gone really hard.
And it shouldn't. Hey! And it shouldn't.
It shouldn't do that.
It shouldn't be like that. So we're going to give it a go. If this doesn't work, we will cut to something else.
A nice fresh batch. I mean, it is sieving through, to be fair. It is sieving through. So hopefully with a bit of manoeuvrability, it might just take a little bit longer. I've never actually had this happen before. So this is all new to me. So hopefully if it's helping me, it's helping you all as well. But yes, I'm just going to carefully put that in there and then sieve it through, and hopefully it's just solidified a little bit and it just needs a little bit of help to get back to its soft consistency.
So it should be really fine then. It should have been a fine consistency.
I mean, as you can see in the bottom, some of it has already started to go through. So
it is very slowly is coming through
just
into
needs a bit of help.
That fine powder that it would ordinarily have been from the get-go.
I mean, I will say, sometimes some icing sugars do come quite compact, and that's why having to sieve them really does help, because then you get a smooth buttercream. Because if you don't and you skip that step, you're going to end up with lumps. And you don't want to bite into a bit of cake with a bit of buttercream and find that you've got a lump of sugar.
No.
So even, like I say, even if it hasn't been left out like we had, I would still suggest sieving, because it does give you that fine consistency.
Which is obviously why it's always kept like inside in a cupboard. But I mean, you think back to its original sort of state, it would have been stacked high on a pallet, probably in a warehouse or in the back of a van or a lorry. And with the temperatures as cold as they have been, this, you could end up buying one and it would be rock hard like this. So it's not that it's not unusable.
No, not at all. It just needs a bit more. This is normally quite an easy step, but this is just going to take quite a bit of sieving to get back to its consistency like you want it at the bottom.
And we're going for, was it 500 grams?
Yeah.
So, quick update, dear viewer. The icing sugar was a bust. No, it was unworkable.
No, I do think that potentially with a bit of work it could be used, but we are time is of the essence, and we want to show you how to do this. So I've just gone and quickly bought another pack of icing sugar. Any icing sugar is going to work. It's all the same stuff, let's be honest. And actually, because it's 500 grams, quite handy. You don't actually have to weigh it out. I will still sieve it though, and you will see when I pour it in now the consistency difference. So actually, this is quite good that it went wrong and now it's going to be this way.
Yeah, so pebbles you don't want.
Look, you can see that there is some sort of like formation there, like you say, where it's been compacted. But you'll also see that it's very fine and it goes through the sieve a lot easier. It's a lot smoother, much better consistency, and it's going to go through much quicker. just like snow. I mean, I can just tap that and that's just going to come out. That's how it should be working. And then when that gets a bit low, you can just top it up. And like I say, the bag is 500 grams, so you don't need to weigh it out. Obviously, if you want to, you can. Sometimes the odd bag has a few grams more here and there. But
nothing that's going to make
nothing that's going to make a massive amount of difference. And look, just like that, it's all gone through.
So do you have to sieve it?
You don't have to be fair. I mean, it's kind of use your judgment. If you think that your icing sugar, you open the bag and it's like that, I wouldn't bother. Even if it's not that much, you could always literally just put it on the mixer and the mixer will do some of this for you. You know, it is an optional step, shall we say, but it's just going to give you that finer consistency for that buttercream and make it easier for the butter to blend into the icing sugar.
So we've got it all in. Actually comes up at 4.89.
Sneaksy.
Scandalous.
Thankfully, I have some extra here. So I can just a little bit at a time until we get to the 500. Nearly there, 499. Oh, so close. Oh, keep going. There we go, 500.
Oh my God, the suspense.
And now that's been done, now you're going to press 0 again.
0 on the scales.
0 on the scales, which will take it back down to 0 grams. So as far as that bowl is now concerned, there's nothing in it. So now you can weigh out your butter. So that will be 160 grams. Again, we're using Flora plant butter. You can use the blocks or the spreadable pots. It was only because this pot was on offer.
And do these come salted and unsalted?
They do come salted and unsalted. Obviously, again, it's down to personal preference. I've just always gone with the salted option. Some people may prefer to do unsalted. So
I don't suppose in a cake or butter icing you're going to know the difference, are you?
not really. I mean, you might notice a slight different texture, but I wouldn't have thought so.
I mean, this is primarily feeding a toddler. Well, he's not a toddler. A little boy. And of course we eat them and they're delicious. But yeah, this is like his first taste of cake because of his dairy allergies and soya and nuts. He's got nothing to compare it against.
No.
But we as adults do. And I mean, I'm a very fussy eater. And these cakes, you would honestly not know the difference.
No, I mean, one of the cakes we will do further on in the vlogs, is a vegan chocolate cake. And people I know, like we've done it for our little boy's birthday before, and people I know who have had that cake, they don't even know like that it's vegan. Like, it's so chocolatey and I hate the word, but moist. And it's just delicious, isn't it?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
So there are ways, we are so lucky nowadays with our alternatives that we get offered, that actually there are ways to make those just as yummy, if not more yummy than normal. So now we're going to put this, that's the 160 all measured out there.
So 160 grams.
160 grams.
Butter has just gone in.
And now we're just going to put that onto the mixer, secure that in place. Now you're going to want to do this on a very low speed because obviously where you've got such a large amount of icing sugar, you can risk getting an icing sugar cloud, which means that icing sugar will go everywhere. Mm-hmm. So we're going to do it on a very low speed, but also you can, this is my specific baking tea towel, you can use this as like a dust cloud protector. So obviously if you do end up with a big cloud, I know for this model of cake mixer you can buy a shield. There is a shield that you put on it and it stops anything kind of coming out. But you know, tea towel's just as good. So let's see how it goes. So we're going to just turn it on to 1. And thankfully there isn't actually an icing sugar cloud. So
not on 1 anyway.
No, but that's what you want. You just want it to slowly mix it in, and then once it starts to form a little bit more and there's not so much icing sugar, so less risk of a cloud. You can then turn it up. Always as well, just tap down the sides just to make sure that any icing sugar that's ridden up or butter goes back down to continue to be mixed. And you can see that's starting to come together now.
What consistency are we looking for?
Again, you're looking for that sort of sand consistency, but basically you just want the butter to be mixing together with the icing sugar. You'll see that sort of yellow colour starting to come through now. And then once it starts to get some form of consistency, then you're going to add in your wet ingredients, which is your oat milk and your vanilla essence. But you want to make sure that this is fully incorporated, because otherwise that's where you then would risk getting the lumps. I am going to, now that obviously some of it's mixed in, I'm going to turn it up and just see. So we're going to go up to 2. Still, thankfully, haven't got that icing sugar cloud, so that's quite lucky. But again, if you do want to, you can always refer to your towel. And as you can see, that's definitely coming together to the consistency that we'd want.
It's changing colour as well.
Yeah, it's going from that all white to you're getting that yellow sort of sand colour. So that I'll lift that up and then you can have a see. So then you can see it's almost sand-like. And that's the sort of consistency you want. But I've just seen that there's a bit of butter on there, so I'm just going to quickly scrape that down. There we go. And as we're going to put that back on, what we will do is we will measure out the wet ingredients so that we can also do that. Just use a glass. It doesn't matter, a glass, a pot. Again, tear it off to 0 so it shows that it's not measuring the glass, it's just measuring what you're going to measure. So now you're going to change it from grams to millilitres. Again, you might have completely different scales. They might work a different way, but this is just how my little salter ones work. And then again, we're using the Oatly whole milk. You can use the one that comes from the fridge. We also have it on subscribe and save because it does work out cheaper to do it that way.
Is that Amazon?
That is Amazon.
Amazon.
That will go through on one of our hints and tips on one of our other videos. Got to save some of the golden stuff. But yeah, so obviously you're just going to use this and you're just going to use 50 mils, not much, because it's just to, again, bring that consistency together to make it a pipeable consistency. So you just want 50 mils of the oat milk. There we go, 50 mils exactly. I'm not going to lie, there are times when I've gone over to 51, 52. It really doesn't matter. Whereas obviously the cakes, I would say it's a precise science. With the icing, the odd milliliter here with the milk is not going to affect it too much. Then you're going to put half a teaspoon of your vanilla in. If you haven't seen our previous video, I can't rave about this stuff enough. This is like the gold standard of vanilla extracts, and it will make a difference to your cakes. So if you're going to scrimp and save on anything, don't scrimp and save on this. So just half a teaspoon into your milk, and just by putting it into your milk, it just, again, it's all about mixing those things together so that it's mixed thoroughly throughout. So now...
But this is because you're making vanilla buttercream.
Yes.
If you was just making buttercream, you wouldn't add any essence.
No,
right?
No, you'd always add the vanilla essence to a vanilla buttercream.
No, that's not what I meant, sorry. We're adding vanilla because we're making vanilla.
So obviously if you are going to do a different flavour, so if you wanted to do orange, you could use an orange essence. If you wanted to use a lemon.
But could you do no essence? Just buttercream?
No.
Okay.
No, you would always add the vanilla essence.
I've learnt something if no one else has.
So obviously again we will do different alternatives of flavoured butter icings, because we can have a vanilla, we can have a lemon, we can have a chocolate. There are so many different alternatives out there. There also are some flavoured icing sugars, which again I will go into at a later date. But back to this one for now. We're going to turn it back onto 1, and we're going to slowly, because again you don't want spillage, just going to slowly pour in a little at a time your milk and vanilla mixture, and you can see it's starting to come together very slowly, because obviously we've got it on a low speed, and we will turn it up once all of the liquid is mixed in. Little at a time, and the last drop, in it goes. So now we're going to turn it up so that we can get more of an even consistency. And you can see that's gone up to 4. And again, I don't do this for exact amount of time, I just use my eye. So I would just use your eye, look at it and think, yeah, that's quite a good consistency. Once everything is completely mixed, you can't see any lumps, you can't see any icing sugar, butter lumps, any liquid pools, then you know you're good. So we're going to turn that off and then I'll lift that up. Now you can see there is some bits left on the mixer, so what we're going to do is we're going to get a spatula and wipe all of those off and give it just one more final mix to make sure that we've got everything fully mixed in. Excess off of the mixer.
The bits they haven't mixed?
Yeah, just to make sure that they do mix in, because otherwise you end up with then again getting like a lump of butter or sugar and nobody wants that. So just to make sure you've got that even mix, scrape as much as you can off of the mixer, and then we're just going to mix one final time before filling our piping bag. So again, just one last mix in to make sure that it's all ready for that final mix. And I always end up scraping on the side and then just using the spatula to scoop it down. So that's going to go in for one more final blend on a medium to high speed. And then you've got a nice pipeable consistency. Okay, now we re-scrape off of the attachment, trying to get obviously as much off as you can. Obviously now that you have finished mixing, you can remove the attachment and do it that way as well. So we've got our cakes out. These are the vanilla cupcakes that we made in our previous video. So now we have got our butter icing made. So what we need to do now is scoop this into our piping bag. Now this piping bag is from a set that I've had for quite a while now. I got it from Amazon, I think, and it came with loads of different piping nozzles. I don't know the names of them all, I just tend to use the star nozzle, just because it tends to give you an easier shape when you do go round and round and round. And obviously it's a silicone piping bag. To be fair though, I've seen a lot of people just use sandwich bags and you just snip the corner. So if you don't have a piping bag, it's not the end of the world. But this is a silicone bag that I can wash and take apart. I always put my piping bag in a glass. It helps me to fill it up because obviously sometimes you end up getting loads of icing at the top, goes all over your fingers, ends up in a bit of a mess. So I stand it in the glass and then pull that down the top and open the piping bag up as much as you can so that you're then able to pour it in without getting icing round the top. So we're going to scoop this into here. You can use anything, you can use a spatula, you can use a spoon, whatever's easiest for you. You can see it's already starting to go a bit, so we're just going to pull that up, shake that down, trying to keep it in that glass as much as we can. You don't want to overfill your piping bag because then it will all squirt out the top. But obviously the next time you do this it's not going to be as easy, so you do want to put in as much as you can without overfilling. So just do it slow and steady, there's no rush. And the good thing about this buttercream is it's so versatile. I mean, at Christmas, I literally didn't have any little icing decorations. I was waiting for some to arrive, and instead, I just sprinkled a bit of cinnamon on top. Just added a little bit of flavour, and actually, people really liked it. So you can also mix and match with different things and just trial and error. Right, I think that might be it for now. We might have to refill, but I think let's go with that for now, because that's quite a lot already in there.
Give me that in percentages. How full?
I would say that's probably about 80% full.
Perfect.
But you just want to make sure that you've got no air bubbles, because if you have air bubbles in your icing, when you're going round and piping, it will splutter and stop getting that smooth circle that you're going to hope to achieve. So I always try and twist the piping bag at the top, and that helps with keeping the pushing down. When you want to make sure that it's gone to the edge, just give it a gentle squeeze so that you get the icing come out, and then you're ready to go. There you go, you're hoping to just go round and round. It takes a bit of practice, and don't get me wrong, I'm by no means perfect, but you just want it to look nice. I always start from the outside, work my way in. Again, sometimes it might not go right, but the joy of something like this is that you can keep swirling round and round until you've got it right. And worst case, if you really don't like it, like that one's gone a bit skewy, so I'm just going to go round again. There we go. If you really don't like it, just grab yourself a palette knife, scrape the icing off and start again. There we go. So now the cakes have been decorated, you can see there is actually quite a bit of icing left over. We have actually only decorated 10 cakes today, partly because some have already been eaten without the icing, but also I do find that this mix does make quite a lot of icing. It's good in one way because it does mean that it gives you that option to, if you wanted to, flavour that icing. What I've done before is I've actually added some lemon zest and made that into a different flavoured icing and then gone on to make some lemon drizzles. But obviously if you wanted, you could always just reduce your icing by half. So just halve the ingredients. We'll put the recipe ingredients below so that obviously then you can see what the recipe ingredients are that we've used. And then obviously, like I say, if you wanted to halve it, on average I would make about 16, I'd still have some left over. So I'd say that you could probably halve the ingredients and still have plenty. So now I'm going to add some sprinkles. Like I said, I've got a couple here. I have got Tesco's rainbow sprinkles. Tesco's are great. They have a vast variety of these kind of coloured sprinkles, and all of them are suitable for dairy-free, soya-free, nut-free. Been able to use those for our little boy. But now he's also wanting some chocolate ones. Now chocolate ones is obviously harder to navigate because obviously chocolate normally obviously contains the dairy and sometimes the soya is an option. But we found these ones recently in a trip to Tesco's, some chocolatey sprinkles mix from Dr. Oetker.
Is that how you say it?
I think so.
I've always been saying Dr. Oetker.
Oh, I've got no idea. But anyway, this lovely selection has got your vermicelli, your little balls there, and then a couple of what looks like white and sort of like a milk or dark chocolate ones. So thankfully those ones are suitable for all the allergens as well. So you've got a couple of options there. We're going to go with the rainbow sprinkles today. And again, I would just go with your heart. Do a little sprinkle. There's no exact science, you just want them to look pretty.
Less is more or more is less? More or less?
I think at the end of the day, it's whatever you feel comfortable with. Sometimes I'll go, oh no, that's enough. And then other times I think, oh no, definitely. I don't think you can ever have too many sprinkles, to be honest. And it adds that nice pop of colour to just that plain vanilla butter icing. Again, obviously age dependent. If you were giving these to obviously a younger child, you might not want to because of the risk of a choking hazard. But obviously...
Our little boy,
he
he inhales all of that.
That'll be gone before the cake's gone.
Yeah, it's like an extra little treat, isn't it?
Yeah.
The sprinkles on the top.
And that's it. Just like that. Vanilla cupcakes with vanilla buttercream and rainbow sprinkles.
Perfect.
Dairy-free, soya-free, nut-free. Perfect. Thank you all for watching. Hope that's been helpful for you. Obviously, please like and subscribe our videos, and if there's any recipes you'd like us to see us do or anything you'd like us to try, we're obviously more than willing to try these things, so let us know in the comments below. And join us next time when we'll be trying something else. See you soon. Bye.